Well, hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Blue Gamer Bluecast morning show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, 30 plus your video game enthusiast, industry analyst. And today, for April 10th, 2026, I'll run through the latest gaming news, what I've been playing, etc., etc. So, I think it was like yesterday or the day before, we got more news on Castlevania, Belmont's Revenge, Belmont's Curse. Well, yeah. But it wasn't all the information I wanted. And actually, we're going to talk about that here shortly. Let's see. What I think we're going to do first, well, let me think. Is there anything to bring up? No. Again, if you haven't checked it yesterday, the Gundam Explained show live, that was really fun with Steven. And then the night before on his channel, we did a live stream where he was designing some products for his store. So check that out if you haven't. So yeah, I think we could jump into things. I'll start with what I've been playing. And, not too much. In fact, yesterday, I think for maybe 20 minutes, I was just playing some Visions of Mana. You could see I have 6 hours into it. It's a pretty fun game, but it's one of those games where I don't need to rush to beat it. It's good that it's there when I want to play it. That makes sense, doesn't it? And that's kind of how I'm feeling about Crimson Desert. So look, I've put 48 hours in Crimson Desert. Haven't played since April 7th, just being busy or whatever. But also, I've enjoyed. I haven't played any game like I've been playing Crimson Desert where I am taking my time. And not only am I taking my time, but when I am seeing the variety of quests I have available, I'm strategizing based on the rewards, based on where it seems it's leading to, because you can kind of see other quests kind of require certain things, other quests to be done. And I've just been having a great job just kind of taking my time in it. And we're going to get to here pretty soon. They just announced a whole bunch of new changes coming up and updates to the game. But it's because I could see myself beating this in the next, couple weeks. So it's like I really just want to still take my time with it and enjoy myself. It's a great game. It would be hard. Wow, actually, no, it could be possible. I was going to say it would be hard for Crimson Desert to not be my game of the year just because of everything that it does. But that Castlevania game, we would just really have to see, because there are some things that might keep it from being a good game for me, but we'll get to that. And that's it. There's this Ariana in the Elder Codex demo, which, I learned from Jonas, who's on this channel quite a bit. Actually, I didn't even see. What's up, Ultronymous Jam Kilice? Good to see you. Jim Cook saying Visions is surprisingly easy to go at your own pace. Yeah, that's why I like that I just jumped in every once in a while. It's only 6 hours compared to the 48 of Crimson Desert, which is like crazy to think, but Visions just is a chill game. It's just a chill game where you're constantly exploring. I'm getting to these new areas and it's fun. But, back to this Ariana in the Elder Codex, Jonas, who shows up in chat a lot, had explained this is already out on console and totally, usually I'm PC first, but this is an excellent game for the Switch, the type of game it is. So I might pick that up later. And I think that's it, for what I've been playing. So let's get into some news. Okay, I want to look at this. Nintendo announces new My Mario products, including Hello Yoshi for Switch, which when it says new products, do they mean new apps for the Switch 2? It's weird they say products. New additions to the My Mario product line. Do I not know what this is? My Mario. Yeah, I guess it's yeah, I have no idea, guys. But what's interesting is this is supposed to be like the Mario 64 Mario that then you use the hand, and then you remember if you guys played Mario 64 back in the day when that part was in it where you could just grab the face and stretch it. That was amazing. Now, nowadays, that does seem more like a childlike thing. And at the time, yes, we were younger, but also at the time, that was like cutting edge technology for consumers at home. So I just think it's interesting that they're continuing that, because I feel like a lot of Nintendo games are less revolutionary, less innovative. I think they are in terms of production value, but not in terms of gameplay like we used to get. So I think this and like Labo and all that is Nintendo always trying to continue to push that angle, which is pretty cool. So, all right. Metal Gear Solid movie. Okay, so the guy that was going to direct the Gundam movie was also going to direct a Metal Gear Solid movie. It's interesting that none of those turned out. But they've got a couple directors. They did, I guess it's a duo that worked on Final Destination Bloodlines, which I didn't watch. Wow, it'd been since 2014 that Jordan Vogt Roberts, who also was going to do the Gundam movie, was attached. It's interesting then that he's still done stuff though. He directed like some TV shows and stuff. So it's interesting that, I wonder where the direction's going. What is it that causes that shift? Anyway, there's not too much more that we can say about it, except that this is some more news for a video game movie. So that's pretty cool. Which, speaking of news for video game movie, this isn't as big of a deal, but there's that Mortal Kombat 2 trailer. Mortal Kombat 2 comes out in a month. The trailer had the OG music. Man, I can't believe I'm forgetting what it was called. But the Mortal Kombat theme, that dance theme, it had it all throughout the trailer. It was excellent. And I've probably already covered it on this channel before, but part of this, is talking about video game memories. But I remember when I had a birthday and it had something to do with Mortal Kombat. I don't know if it's when Mortal Kombat came out and we went to go see it, or it's just I had a Mortal Kombat themed birthday, but my friend bought me the cassette of the soundtrack, not of the movie, but it had the song from the movie. I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of the band, but that's an amazing soundtrack. Like each fighter had their own theme. And then, because I want to say that was around the time Mortal Kombat 3 was coming out, because we went, my friends as a group, we went to the mall and there was like, The Immortals. Thank you, Jim Killex. That's it. They had the arcade set up to try Mortal Kombat 3. Anyway, cool stuff back then. All right. Let's see. Moving a little forward. Okay, Crimson Desert dev details a list of new features coming to its massive Xbox RPG. So, curious what this is going to be, but boss rematch and reblockading. So this is something people are asking about immediately. There are moments in Crimson Desert where you have some of the most incredible battles ever. And I think I was talking about how like playing it on the Xbox, it has slowdown. PC luckily doesn't, but that's how crazy it is. But apparently once you then, I guess, have that battle, destroy those enemies, then the area is barren and there's no fighting that could take place there anymore. Enemies aren't hanging around, bosses aren't around, but they're adding boss rematch and reblockading. Players will be able to re-challenge previously defeated bosses and liberated locations may come under blockade again, providing players more opportunities for battle. Great idea. Now there's difficulty settings, which that is awesome in terms of the combat. Just because I think I'm saying it's awesome now. Only because they have been doing these updates. I kind of wish they just kept the game the way it was, Character and gameplay improvements. Let's see. New skills. Okay, I don't know. Back weapon visibility toggle. Oh, that's cool. Outfit update. New character outfits will be introduced. Additionally, certain outfits previously limited to sale or donation will be updated to become equipable. Okay, that's cool. Expanded systems and quality of life updates. Specialized storage systems, food storage with direct access to cooking ingredients. Wardrobe system for outfit gathering, or gatherable storage for materials. Collection. Okay, so a way to better organize, maybe, because there's a lot of stuff. Although again, all this seems to be is here's the things that have been in games before, but let's just make it easier, and that's fine. But that's not what the game was. Let's see. Pets and mounts. New pets and summable mounts will be added along with Expanded equipment options for mounts apart from horses. Technical and visual enhancements, UI updates. Okay, control improve additional customization options for certain controller inputs and expanded configurable keys. Mouse keyboard improvements to distant scenery quality. That's cool. I mean, it already looks good. Can I expand it even more? That'd be awesome. All right, and then the soundtrack coming out. So, I mean, it is cool. Not only was this game as amazing as it was, with as low as a budget as it has compared to Western games, but also all the updates they're giving us. Now, I can't say I completely 100% agree with the approach of just all these updates in this way, where it's a lot of it is about is like gameplay tweaks. It's just tweaking too much. Look, they had a lot of people already played it and enjoyed it and beat it, and we had reviewers, even with the low review scores, reviewers play it's still, and it's after that. So a number of people have played through and beat the game in its original state. Anyway, so look, fun game. I can't wait to continue to be in that world, and I love that I am taking my time with it. I do, especially as these updates are coming out. Kind of enjoying it. It's just, I look at this picture and it kind of reminds me of the game that it is for me in a nutshell. Not that I've fished. I think I tried fishing once and I couldn't do it, but it's whereas I'm taking in the game and I've never done it as much with a game as this. Although I will say I'm doing that more with games. I guess in the past few years I have been, and I think Breath of the Wild kind of triggered that in me. But even like when I was playing Avowed, when I was finishing it up and I wanted to see every part of the map, the fog of war of the map, I enjoyed clearing that out, looking at every detail. I don't know why. Okay. Here's what we're going to do now. Let me see. I'm going to get this a little big. We're going to look at some Castlevania stuff. So this is a little trailer commentary thing. Let me,
Castlevania Belmont's Curse. We first worked on this beloved franchise with the Return to Castlevania DLC for Dead Cells. Since then, we've moved away from our roguelike roots and have been busy building a brand new 2D action-adventure game.
And I'm speaking for Taniguchi-san from Konami. My team worked on the Castlevania collection, as well as collabs with external studios. Evil Empire's...
Okay, so basically what's going on is a producer of some of the recent Castlevania collections from Japan, Konami in Japan, is producing this. Still, though, this is made by a Western studio, a French team. And, looking at it, it looks cool. But I will say this doesn't look like what I would want from a Castlevania game. There's a couple key things. Let me do Dawn of Sorrow bosses. Is that the way to search for what I'm trying to search for? Okay, maybe. So there was a couple key things when Castlevania games would come out in the past that I was excited about. One was, or I think it's a summation, it's the tone and the look of, like, before Dark Souls, Castlevania was like, okay, what creature designs are we going to see that are going to be insane? Castlevania was the game that was doing that. It was introducing insane creature designs. And I just remember like Dawn of Sorrow specifically just because it was taking all the older sprites, adding new sprites, and creating some amazing looking designs. Like here's Aria of Sorrow boss. I mean, but it's just, as I was watching this, that is one thing that seems to be missing. Things seem to be a little, here's a boss. It is Joan of Arc. Oh, I messed that up. Which I guess is okay. But, it's just kind of a humanoid form, which is, it could be that just one or two of the bosses just to kind of add for more of a narrative structure. We then have like this Medusa head here that is flying by, and if you were to look closely at it, it has more of a, because the brow ridge is far down, the way the eyes are sunken in, it has more of a abstract, cartoony look and not the sort of realistic, detailed, almost painting-like design. Even though it was limited by pixels, the Castlevania series never went into that SD territory of making things look, like squished, super deformed. They've always attempted to make it look as realistic as possible. And because of the shading that can be done with the pixel art, it was very easy for them to portray things in a super demonic manner, like the pictures of the demons here, which is really Dracula in his final form, or one of his. Okay, let's look at this a little more. Even the movement is very much of that Disney Fortnite, super exaggerated, and not where it was what Castlevania was trying to do was, the older games designing the animation as more deliberate, but you were, especially it was before Symphony of the Night. I think it started with Rondo of Blood with the Maria walk animation, because the Richter, I think, was reuse or something, or maybe not. But the Maria one was a really neat animation that then followed through with Symphony of the Night. And then that was the other thing those Castlevania games were known for, was the walking animations. And that's what made the game feel good to walk around in, because the animation matched up so nicely with how your character would move. This does it where it's probably going to be, and I could be wrong, but a little more floaty. Again, I could be completely wrong about that. But just looking how it is, even that animation that the Joan of Arc character just did with the sword, it was very much it wasn't like a consistent animation. It was a animated animation that gives off more of an abstract, cartoony look, less of a gothic horror look. This could be a Disney boss, right? Okay, and you know what? This is similar to the complaints I had with Bloodstained. I forgot what the subtitle of that was. Bloodstained kind of did the same thing, and it took me out. But I think it is just cheaper to do it. It's more practical for a team to make a game that's not going to sell, to do it this way. This is really cool. I'm seeing a lot of diving underneath and then hitting and then jumping back. That's combat I like to see. But even a shot like that looks cool, but it also looks, that Disney Fortnite look. So I'm not too crazy about it. But here's the other weird thing. They didn't even say who the character is. They told us it's a Belmont, but they didn't say who. Word is it's Sonia Belmont, or word is, my guess, just because Sonia Belmont is in Castlevania Legends on Game Boy, and that was known for being decanonized, not part of canon. So we've gone this whole time without this character, and it looks like Sonia Belmont. So I'm just waiting for them to say something. And then they had another. Oh, yeah. Was it this? They had another video that went up. And this was actually an interview with the dev team, and I think the producer from Konami. And it still didn't really give us any more information. Oh yeah, watch that. That looks fun. Some things, though, I see sometimes, but not all the time, is the obstacles, the traps, where that stuff existed in the older Castlevania games, but I would say a lot of times they were practical in the game world, as if this was a dungeon area. Yes, there are traps, something like that. But in this, it seems like just random, running up a wall, and then there's pressure wall plates of spikes. That's not practical. That's gamified. That's just there for the purpose of being a challenge for the game of, you know what I mean? So that's another aspect that, and I wonder if I can jump. I was hoping I could just jump to a part showing some of that. Because we saw it in the other video. some of the the platforming. You know, the Prince of Persia game, Lost Crown, which was not made by this team, which they actually made Rogue Prince of Persia. Very weird stuff going on, even though Dead Cells had Castlevania. Anyway, interesting thing there. Okay, here we go. Jumping around spikes. This is an old building. Maybe there's spikes, on the going up the walls. Okay, I like that. They're doing like air combos and swinging around. This all looks very Castlevania-y, having the harpies kind of like sitting there shooting you while you're trying to navigate up. In Order of Ecclesia, they had this, one of your specials was around those little diamond-looking things, I think, and it would be where you would like magnetize to it and then launch yourself. Oh yeah, here's them showing stuff from Dead Cells, the Castlevania stuff. Which I would have preferred that art style. I'm surprised they didn't do that. Anyway, is there anything else more I wanted to speak on the Castlevania? Yeah, okay, here's another thing. The music. Oh yeah, and that reminds me, I have it over here, but anyway, that'll be another video. There's not, you can hear some parts of the music, but it's really hard to get a sense.
A lot of anxiety.
Castlevania Belmont.
It was.
No, it's pretty much hidden by the guys talking. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
What will become to find out?
Same kind of thing.
Castlevania, Belmont's
Music. That's the other thing these Castlevania games have been known for the longest time, is the music. So I hope they nail it here. I want to say I didn't bother listening to much of the music that was in Dead Cells of Castlevania, but Vampire Survivors, that soundtrack is insane. The thing is, we're going to want them to have original songs, but as far as we know, Michiru Yamane, we don't know if she's working on it or not. Probably not. She did work on that last one, The Grimoire of Souls, and it has the same producer. I would prefer if she was making the music, but if not, that's okay too. But then if that's the case, what is the music going to sound like? So, let's see. Alternatives, I feel like they're not going to say the Belmont's name just so you can insert it being whoever. No, it is going to be, so every Castlevania game, the story is super deep. This takes place during a certain time in Castlevania history, in the Belmont's history, where Sonia Belmont would be alive. It's just that since they decanonized the Game Boy game with Sonia Belmont, and then they're showing a character that looks just like her, they just haven't announced her yet, but it has to be her. Just because this is still going to have Trevor, apparently. The rumor is there's this werewolf that's in this, and it's actually Trevor, which that's kind of a thing with Castlevania, like Richter. Didn't he turn? He took Dracula's throne for a little bit, so I just can't wait for them to announce the lore stuff, the other side of it. So anyway, I got a lot off my chest. I really feel good when I get to talk about a specific subject I like for a long time, and Castlevania is one of those. And especially with this new game, I just don't know what to expect. So we'll have to see. It would be weird if they didn't say it. I think that they would have to, because I think they know all the fans are waiting. I just wonder. I think they're trying not to get the first impressions, the first things being out there, just like lore, people like, oh, I can't believe they're changing this, because there would be not changes to canon, but the head canon some folks have already had for Sonia Belmont. So instead of that noise being there, I think they're kind of waiting until like people see the gameplay. They see, oh yeah, this is a Metroidvania. I don't know. But anyway, guys, I'm going to head out a little early. That's about it. Thanks for joining. I'll be back next week with some more, but enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk later. See y'all.